Hello, my name is Joan Kleinfelter and I'm going to be your instructor for History 121, the online version. I'm a senior member of the History Department. I've been teaching this class face-to-face for about 25 years now. My specialty is modern Europe, particularly Germany, particularly the Nazis. So when we get to the Nazis, I'm going to become completely unhinged. Let's see, I got my degrees from Grinnell College, where I was not a history major. I majored in German instead, and then I got my master's and my PhD in history at Indiana University. I'm married, and in my spare time, I'm working on remodeling my house, which is a constant project. I have 3 cats. And I also really love to travel, particularly to Berlin, which is my all-time favorite city. Now this class is designed to introduce you to European history from 1689 up to the present. And honest to God, we really do get up to the present. Now if you don't like history, don't worry about it. I understand that not everybody is a real fan of history. But I'm really hoping that I've designed a class that will work for you and that you're actually going to end up enjoying. Please do understand that an online class is more work than a face-to-face class. That's because you can't just come and listen to me lecture at you. You actually have to read everything. So you want to make sure that you set up a special place for yourself where you cannot be disturbed and where you can do the work that you need to do. I think the best way to handle this would be, because I've designed it as a 6 weeks class because we're doing this in the summer, if you pretend that you're taking a face-to-face class, I think that might work out for you. So for example, in a face-to-face class in the summer, we meet Monday through Thursday for an hour and 40 minutes. If you can set aside 2 hours each day, Monday through Thursday, you should be really good to go to do the assignments, which start typically being due on Thursday. You're going to have a discussion board, you're going to have a response paper, and you're going to have a quiz every single week. And then there's 2 exams, one at the end of the second module, and then one at the end of the course. And all of this is discussed under the About section that you will see when you log into Canvas. This class covers European history from 1689, again, all the way up to the present. So we're going to be covering a lot of territory and moving relatively quickly. But we're also going to be talking about Western civilization. So what do we mean by Western civilization? Well, Western civilization is the collection of ideas and attitudes and values that we have that have developed over time. Now we could go all the way back to ancient Greece and start there with Socrates and Plato and those guys. But for our purposes, Western Civ really starts with the Enlightenment, and this is what we're going to cover in the first module. The Enlightenment is a collection of ideas and attitudes that for the first time encouraged people to question traditions and to challenge authority and to use their reason, their observation, to come up with new ideas, because the goal was to find the best possible form of government to provide the greatest amount of happiness for the largest number of people. And in fact, that's really at root what the French Revolution and all the other revolutions and wars that we're going to take a look at, it's really what it was all about. So the first part of the class is going to take a look at the Enlightenment and the French Revolution. And as you'll see, the French Revolution changes everything. This is when modern Europe begins, is with the French Revolution. And we're going to be taking a look at that for the Module 1 and for Module 2. Then we're going to move into the 1800s, and we're going to take a look at the conflict between the working class and the middle class. And we'll cover Marxism and a whole bunch of revolutions as well. There's lots of bloodshed in this class. It's European history. The last part of the class, it analyzes the era from the Great War up to the present. Now the Great War is what Europeans call World War I. And World War I, again, changes everything. Everything that we know and associate with the 20th century, with the 1900s, came out of the trenches of the Great War. So, for example, because of the Great War, we end up getting communism, and the first communist country, the Soviet Union. We end up getting fascism in Italy. And in Germany, the Nazis. They are directly related to the Great War. Women get the right to vote, finally, in 1919. Well, not in France. France is always weird. I'm a German historian. We have to pick on the French. It's kind of a job requirement. The French women don't get a chance to get the right to vote until 1945, after World War II. But women do get the right to vote in most places after World War I, because as you will see, women in Europe really contribute to the war effort in the First World War. In a lot of ways, World War II is a continuation of the First World War, and we'll of course look at World War II, and we'll look at the Holocaust, and then we'll take a look at how World War II divides Europe into two rival halves during the Cold War, with the Communist East and the Democratic West. And then in the very last phase, we're going to take a look at what happens with the fall of the Berlin Wall, and how the East and the West have tried to reunify each other, and how democracy has spread throughout all of Europe, so that now even Romania is democratic. Russia, well, Russia's still kind of a special case now, isn't it? But we will talk about Russia as well. Let's see, what else was I going to cover here? I think that's about it. Oh, historical thinking questions. I have not talked about that. You're going to learn to think historically with this class. Now, a lot of times students think that history is all about facts and dates. I don't really care about dates. Trust me, you're going to know what dates you need to know. I want a ballpark figure. Before the French Revolution, after the French Revolution, during the reign of Louis XVI, after the Terror, that's about right. Big dates, not so important. You can always look up dates. Facts are important. You need to know what the Enlightenment was and who Louis XIV was. But knowing who and what and where and when, those are sort of basic questions. Historical thinking asks about how and why. Why did the Enlightenment lead to the French Revolution? How was it that people actually thought that communism was going to be a great form of government? Why did they think that way? Those are historical thinking questions. And every week we're going to be taking a look at a number of historical thinking questions, so that by the end of the class, believe me, you're going to be able to come up with your own historical thinking questions, and these are all designed to get you ready for all the assignments and also for the exam. I'm on your side. I want you to do well. It's easier to grade good papers than bad papers. So believe me, I'm ready to work with you and make sure that you have a really positive experience here. If you need to get a hold of me, I will have designated office hours for the online class. What that means is that I'm going to be in my office, and the times are going to be on the syllabus. And you can either call me or email me during those times and get an immediate response, or if you happen to be around, you could also set an appointment with me and come and see me face to face. Just because this is an online class does not mean that we can't meet face to face in a way other than with this videotaping. So I hope you liked the class. Do feel free to ask questions. Do feel free to let me know if you're having any problems at all. I'm really looking forward to working with you, and I hope you end up liking history, well, at least almost as much as I do. I'll see you soon.